So I just wanted to talk about how I feel like New World has been. Um, with about 250 hours in the game so far, I think I have a little bit of, I have some grounds to speak on the matter for sure. Um, I just want to talk about sort of how I think it's going, um, where I think it's kind of going, and like what I would like to see different, what I like. Um, I am mad and bad. Uh, so I think the biggest problem that I have right now with New World is it's not very okay. So it's designed to be extremely well modular, to use the word to use that word. Like every single thing is like a little harvestable. Um, every single thing is like a thing that you can level up and that you can do, that you can pursue. There's so many different things that you can do. I mean, there's what? How many skills do they have? This many skills. They have this many weapons. They have, you know, a ton of achievements. How many achievements do they have? They have 816 achievements. They have, like a gear grind. They have, um, like a territory grind. Like every territory has to be leveled up. Um, you can buy 3 houses. You can, and I'm sorry if the FPS is bad. I really can't record this game. It just doesn't work on my computer. Um, like everything is there to be conquered. I guess everything is there to be grinded. Everything is there to have something interface with it, which is good. Um, and I think it's one of the biggest draws of the game is that every single like you can pursue what you want, but you're not locked to pursuing any one thing. Like you don't have to pick a profession. You can do any profession you want at any time. Um, and that's good. But I don't know. It leaves things. I think some things are. I think some things are done better than others, and I think some things need some work. Specifically, I think the crafting is done really well. Um, at least for the moment, it feels like it somewhat matters. What I would say is that a lot of them feel very like some of them are much more annoying than others. Like there are things in the game that are locked not behind like oh I don't want to do this because I don't think it's like cool for my character fantasy or like I don't want to do this because I want to invest my time in something else. Rather it's locked behind like I literally don't have like the like it's not even conceivable that I would do this. And I think the main one is furnishing. Um, like we have one person in our guild who's like 100 furnishing, and it's taken him literally like 30 hours to do that, and that's like nowhere even near halfway. Like that's just absurd. Um, and I don't really know like the other big thing is the territory standing, which I didn't even talk about yet. But like there's the territory standing for each territory, and that goes up to 300. There's Steam achievements for it. Like that's really not like conceivable, even for someone who has played pretty much nonstop since this game came out. Um, I don't know how I would ever even you know like think of doing that. Like I don't know how I'm gonna get to 300 territories standing in any territory, let alone all the territories, unless they change some sort of system, which is what I'm advocating here for. I don't know how I'm gonna get to 200 furnishing or 200 fishing. Like these things are like yeah, if you spend 250 hours, maybe you get to do one of those. Like I've invested how many thousands of gold into jewel crafting, and that's really like the main thing. Like nothing else here aside from tracking and skinning, which is its own problem, is 150. Aside from stone cutting and jewel crafting, which go together. Um, and yeah, I think the tracking and skinning thing is like it says something a lot because tracking and skinning, like you get to 200, you don't do any work to get to 200. I mean, you just get there instantly, and then I mean, there's furnishing over here that if you craft, like if you spend a 1 million iron ingots, you'll get to like 150 or whatever it is. I don't know what the number is exactly, but like I don't know. It's starting to wear on me a bit. I guess I would say, um, and I just worry about that magic dying. I worry about it um, becoming really gold oriented specifically because gold equals crafting levels. I worry about it, you know. I worry about bots botting all the iron routes. I worry about it's just what is it going to look like? I mean, look at our map right now. There's no purple on this map. I mean, that was our doing essentially, but like what is 2 months from now going to look like? I'm glad that they changed how many wars are happening. That's a really good thing. I think they did. I think both patches that they've had have changed important elements of the game. And I don't know, man. It's hard. It's like I think that New World honestly expects. I get. I guess it's saying that you can't do everything, but when it presents it this way, it's like it's giving you an expectation to do everything. And how are you going to do everything? Like how? I mean, you're just not. That's just the simple fact of the matter. Like unless you just have infinite gold somehow, and that's one of my other main problems is I just hate farming gold in games, and I see New World just going down this path of just being gold equal, progression. Um, it already feels like that in some ways, and it's just like I don't know. I mean, right now, like gold grinding just wears on me so much. It doesn't feel like good gameplay, and I know that's like what an MMO is at its core form is a currency acquirement, but like I don't know. I just it kills the magic, for me at least. Um, so yeah, like I think that the end game is currently fine as it is. There's still a lot to do in terms of just progression, like gear progression, um, leveling up like our territory to have all the upgrades, getting all the quests done. Um, and I don't know. It's hard. Like I think the PV is fine. I don't think Garden or Lazarus are very good, to be honest. So I think that they need to add more, and I know I've heard rumors about there being more, um, which is definitely a good thing. Um, yeah, it's rough. Like there's also a lot of like just quality of life stuff that I would really love to see. There's a lot of like weird things that are just like not explained in the game, like your luck stat, which is not said anywhere at all yet matters a ton. Um, the other like there's a lot of bugs. I know I said it in the tiger video I made, but there's so many bugs. Like it's just so bad. Like they fixed maybe 20, and there's probably 500 they need to fix. Um, like one of the biggest ones with life staff specifically is when you're trying to to self-cast your heal. Sometimes if you're in combat and you're like targeting someone else with it and you like double click it, it'll not accept your control input to auto do it. It'll like, I don't know. And then sometimes you won't be able to swap weapons either, which is the other big bug in life stuff. Those are the two main ones right now that are really like affecting my gameplay, especially in wars. But there's just like I could name those two bugs, but there's probably like 50 more that bother me just as much that I'm just not thinking about right now. So they really need to sort that out as well. I don't know. I haven't experienced all the content in the game. There's still the arenas to do. I know there's still a little bit of main quest left to do. I haven't done all the quests yet. I know there's some sort of world boss up in Shattered Mountain. There's Outpost Rush, which is like some sort of MOBA mode that isn't released yet, at least for our server. I don't really know anything about when it's going to release. And there's a rumor floating around that it's only 18% of the game, so maybe, I mean, like, I have gone to these edges here. I've looked at these zones, and they're rendered into the game, at least partially. So I assume there's going to be more, which is good. I just think they need to refine certain aspects of what they have right now. There's often not a lot of point in. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of point in doing certain actions. Especially like turning in bounty boards. Like I really don't understand that system. Turning in bounty boards after 60. Like it's the best XP until you hit 60, and then it's suddenly this like weird thing that you turn in. Sorry. It's this weird thing that you do to get good crafting experience, but it's like it's just not well explained. The same thing with the gear grind. Like, the gear grind isn't explained at all. I learned only today about how it functions with, like, the watermarking of certain slots. So it doesn't matter that I grinded out all this PvP armor. Like, it doesn't do anything for my overall gear drops. But if crafting gear is going to be the best in the end anyways, I mean, I'm not sure if that matters. I don't know. I think the Azoth thing is another thing that's really annoying. You can only get a max of 1,000 aside from the vials. And then suddenly you'll end up wanting to spend 1,000 Azoth on crafting, like you blowing, 30 Azoth per jewel or per like jewel crafted piece, and now suddenly you're at 233 Azoth or even lower. And you can't even go anywhere at all. And it's just like, why? What is the purpose of putting this at 1,000? Like, it doesn't do anything for the player aside from like create another weird grind that's like not even fun. Like, the Azoth grind is not fun. Maybe I'm just starting to sort of reach the point where I kind of reach in a lot of games where I just don't find them grindable that much. I don't know. I still enjoy the game a lot. I just think that maybe I'm burning myself out or something, or they just need to, refine sort of the things that they have going right now. Like fishing is just impossible. Furnishing, even getting there's problems with all of the crafting things and like the best things to craft. Like, the best thing to craft for engineering is a bow that takes only wood fiber and leather because you don't want to spend iron. And iron is like the entire economy. Like, for some reason, like, all of the higher tier drops mean nothing, and the only drops that matter are like iron and greenwood and rawhide and fiber instead of like all of the higher tier mats. Like, they just don't matter, which is really Yeah, I really don't like that. Like it takes like like a million iron for furnishing, and like I don't know. Like it's frustrating because it doesn't feel like you actually progress. Like your stats progress, but suddenly the best thing is still to go to Windsward and farm hemp, or go to First Light and do the Iron Rot. Like it's still that's still the best thing in at level 60 levels later. Like yeah, you can go to Shadow Mountain and get some Orichalcum ore or whatever, but you're still gonna need a base of iron to craft steel, and then you're gonna need star metal to craft the star metal, and then you're gonna need Orichalcum on top of that. But the Orichalcum's such a small part of that. Like the iron is the base. The iron is what matters, and like it just doesn't feel like you actually like are anywhere different than you were 60 levels ago. Like I have a friend who goes and cuts trees in Windsward for like 8 hours a day to get greenwood to fund his psychopathic engineering and furnishing stuff. Like there's nothing different about that than it was at level 1. And I get it that it's supposed to be omnipresently fun, but like it doesn't feel like your character actually progresses, and that's frustrating. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know, burned out. Take a break or something. But I think that there are definitely real problems here. Like I just they need to fix certain things. Like the game is fun, but they need to fix certain things. I think they need to. I mean, I don't know. Definitely like have a major focus on bug fixing until the game is in at least a semi-playable state. Like I hate lagging all around. I hate getting super speed glitches. I hate that the best movement option in the game is still to do this stupid like roll cancel thing with the weapon swap all around and use the rapier to like do all these animation cancels. Um, it breaks things, the bugs, and I think that does wear on you. Like it doesn't make the game, it makes the game worse. So if they had a focus on fixing the bugs and then kind of took like revisited certain elements of the grinds, and just kind of thought about what they actually want players to be grinding and what isn't really super like good to be grinding, that would probably be good. Like I think an easy fix that they could make to make all the higher tier crafting mats like more useful is to just have like some iron drop from star metal, or some iron and star metal drop from orichalcum. Um, the other like it's the same thing with rawhide and the other hides. Like you're restricted to farming mobs below a certain level because they don't drop the material that you actually need above that level. I get that the early game zones are meant to be important forever, but it's just not like it doesn't. There's no progression. I think in that element, the only progression are these numbers and what you can craft. And yeah, so it's that, and they just need to make things more available for knowledge, like the gear score thing, the luck thing, how like there should be some sort of menu for how you get all your bonuses to craft higher gear score items. Like last night I bought another house to put another trophy in, and it didn't change the gear score of the jewelry I was crafting. Like I don't understand how that works. Like it's not given to me anywhere in the game. The other big thing, and this isn't necessarily a problem for everyone, it certainly is for me, is warp planning. Like the war planning menu. I mean, where can I even go to? I don't think there's one open that I'm in right now, but it's like it's literally the worst thing ever. Like it's just a list of names and you can't do anything with it. Like there's no search bar, there's no, and then it like I don't know. They just need to change a lot of stuff to. It's just all QOL. They need to make everything more just smoother to actually like make their game like not weirdly annoying in certain elements. Like when you fill a war or when you go into wartime and people get their invites out, you're not allowed to change it to manual fill. So it'll autofill like level 20s into your war that you need like 55s to 60s for at this point to be efficient in. It's just annoying. Like you can have purple, you can have a random faction get on at 5 a.m. and grind influence when no one's on. Like that's happened to us many times, and I've been stuck leading. I've led like I have like 14 war wins at this point or something, and it was fun for a while, or 12, but like that's a lot of fucking defenses to plan, and it's a lot of yelling at people to like raid lead. And I don't think that it makes it's draining. It's draining for me, but it's also draining. Like it's draining for everyone, and it's also draining for me as the person who has to actually like lead the war and like plan the tactics. Like it's hard. It's too much, and I'm glad they changed some of it, but I don't know. They just need to be. I would love to see patches every 3 days instead of 7. Um, and just I don't know. Like you, another thing is with the influence stuff in the territories that it feels. I mean, not only is it possible for them to cap a territory overnight, um, like they need to lock the influence gain to the hours when people are on for sure, but they also like people don't like the way that influence gain happens right now. Like it's just running in between missions and doing the missions when everyone just wants the TDM in front of the gates or TDM at the fort. Like the fort should be the thing that gives influence, and it should be like that should be what matters. And people would, I think that would be more investing to people if the fort was what gave influence and the missions were just probably just killed. Um, but it doesn't feel good having your capital be so susceptible all the time. I mean, I understand that the war is like a gameplay element you need to interface with, but when when they do it at 5 a.m. when no one's online, that doesn't feel very good. Um, and then once you finally get into the war, it's just hell to plan. Like the way I would design the war menu is add a search bar, add a way for the players who sign up to showcase what they want to do. Like have them pick their weapon mastery on 2 weapons to show like what they want. Have them show their armor class. Have them, you know, like have like a little message box about like anything they want to say. Like that would be some nice stuff at least for the planners to make it better. Inside the war, I think war is honestly like fairly well made. The only time it ever lags is with like the ice gauntlet bug, um, which is good. I mean, it certainly lags a lot with the ice gauntlet bug, which is a shame. They probably need to cap ice gauntlet or do something with it. But I think war is well made for sure. It feels dynamic. It feels important. It's stressful as fuck, but that's probably a good thing. It should be stressful, but it shouldn't be so omnipresent. Like I don't know. Like we had 2 yesterday, 3 the day before, 1 the day before that, and then like this past week, like we've had like 1 or 2 a night, every night. So I think that I mean, we'll see how this new patch kind of changes how the influence is happening. Um, but it's super fucking annoying to be the to have to defend your territory by wasting your time, essentially. Um, I don't know. Maybe I just need a little bit of a break from the game or something, but like I love this game. I don't want that to be made unclear. Like I think this game is one of the best games I've played in years. I just want to see it, you know, succeed and do better. Um, like I think it could really be great long term if it just, you know, ironed out some of the stuff that needs ironing out. And it's just really frustrating a lot of the player base right now. Like not just me, like everyone that I talk to and play with. These are some of the same problems we have. Like I worry that Amazon, like their devs aren't playing their game. They don't really aren't super in touch. Maybe that's not true. They did fix a couple of the exploits. I do think that their patches have been good so far, for sure. I just want to see them do more. I want to see them do more frequently, be more, you know, like aggressive with changes. I know that they've had some, you know, they've already had botting problems and gold selling problems, and they've really been focusing on cracking down on that, which is good. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It was very magical the first couple weeks, but now I kind of know everything, or mostly everything that there is to know, and it's here's where the real kind of test of what happens starts. Like, is it one of those games that is just not omnipresent? Like, does it not stay? Um, so I guess I'll have to see on that. Uh, I know for me specifically that it's usually it's harder for me to stay with things than it is for other people to stay with games. Um, I just kind of burn out quickly, so I don't know. I really want to see it succeed. I want to see them like ideally like they release like two really good bug patches the next couple weeks. They release like a like state of new world, and they're like, okay, here's what we're identifying as like problem areas, and we want to kind of spruce up the game a little bit. Also, we're adding a new dungeon next month. Like that's kind of what I want to see. I know there's a ton of stuff in the works, which is really exciting. So it's just a game built to make you play like 15 hours a day, which I don't really want to be doing until the end of time. Um, just because it's just not really, I don't know. It shouldn't be like that, I guess. I think it should reward the people that do want to sweat that hard. Um, but it also shouldn't, like, force you to play, essentially. And I think the main reason that it's forcing you to play right now is all the war stuff. Especially if you're ingrained in it, like having to plan and lead the battles. That's a lot for sure. And I know I chose that role myself, but it's definitely frustrating. Um, I don't know. Good game. Good game with bad problems. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. I don't know. It really is a good game. Like it's really great. Like I wouldn't be playing. I wouldn't have played it for 250 hours in however many, like 3 weeks now. If it wasn't a good game. So yeah. Um. All right, I'm gonna end it here. But thanks for listening. If you got this far, I know it's kind of long, almost 30 minutes. Holy cow! I did not even realize. Yeah. So thanks for listening. If you got this far. Otherwise, Goodbye to the void.